to Mr. Paul Au, the General Manager of Harmonico, which has consistently organized the Let's Talk series to foster dialogue on important issues of the day. I remember last year you guys organized a dialogue on understanding suffering through different religious lens, inviting experts from Muslim background, Christian, Hindu, and also Buddhist and others. And also well done to Harmonica, I want to say, for organizing persistently for today's Let's Talk program as well, focusing on youth and arts. Then to the esteemed moderator, Mr. Mo Nasro, the co-founder of Penang Hidden Gems. The speakers in the panel later, this Dr. Kuah Li Feng, the academic manager of the One Academy, Mr. Tang Yeok Khang, an artist, Mr. Kenny Ng, the general manager of Penang Art District. Salam Sejahtera, Salam Malaysia Madani, and Salam Penang 2030. Now, this guy, Banksy, is one of the world's most famous street artists today. He is well known for his graffiti art, Girl with Balloon, that you see on the left side of the screen. Now, until today, Banksy still remains famous, but at the same time anonymous. Nobody knows his real identity. And all his corporate dealings, his sales of his artwork was dealt through his company called Pest Control Office. So, one of Banksy's famous saying is this: a painting isn't finished when you put down your brush. That's when it starts. Art is a language that speaks across culture, across religion, and across generation. But then, in many parts of the world today, race and religion still separate people, causing alienation in our society. Now, recent cases of non-Muslim guy being slapped for not fasting during Ramadan, non-Hindu DJs mock Thai Buddhism, and also netizen that made fun of Prophet Muhammad's name. And these controversies have sparked anger among people and calling into question the strength of our social cohesion. Now, is our multiracial society under threat? And is there anything that we can do to improve? Is there anything that the youth in the art community, like many of you here today, can contribute to improve our multiracial bond? Now, those who work in the arts are gifted, and I believe all of you can contribute to our nation building. The artists have power to build our nation through your artwork. Will your art or your painting or your graphic or your video or your story break down and destroy the social glue that binds us as one people? Or will your art bring healing, mend misunderstanding, and create a stronger bond among communities from different race and religion? I think the world needs arts that will heal our humanity. The world needs arts that nurture trust among different communities. And the world needs arts that build a common identity in diversity. But there is a serious problem. We know this is important. Serious problem. Why a serious problem? Because the problem with our contemporary art landscape at the moment, there's a tendency to focus a lot on the artist's idea, on the artist's internal feelings and thoughts. That's a problem. Because when we look at contemporary art today, a lot of this element in the artwork is pretty much express the artist's own internal idea, which is good, of course, foster the creativity of artists, but at the same time, it causes problem because when it's too inside, you separate yourself from common people, from the common element in the society, from the shared value, from the shared heritage, from the shared story that form and foster and sustain a common identity in our multiracial society. You focus too much inside, then you lose that kind of commonality in your artwork. But this is not the case. Actually, contemporary art didn't come from nowhere. When we look back to the previous great arts in the past, for example, The Last Supper, painted by Da Vinci. Then you can see the Monet Water Lily series, and then also the Dunhuang cave arts 1,000 years in history was painted and crafted. All these arts, when we see those great arts in the past, artwork, they resemble, they express something that is common in the society at the time. Something that no matter who you are, you can relate to, you can understand. But today's art, what happened? Why there is a sudden switch? And I think it all goes back to about 100 years ago from a movement by this guy, French artist by the name of Marcel Duchamp. So Marcel Duchamp at the time, he saw that the art was so common, expressing all the common identity. He was thinking something. He wanted to challenge that idea. Therefore, he came out with the thoughts of this. What if artwork does not express commonality, but express the artist's ideas? Purely the artist's ideas. So in the past, for example, when I want to paint, let's say Last Supper, the Bible story, Last Supper, or we paint about water lilies, a landscape, very nice landscape. I'll put my painting there, my tools, and then I'll start painting, referring to a common landscape that all of us can see. Well, if you paint Komta, everyone understand what Komta means, what Komta signifies for Penang, right? But if your idea is focusing on expressing the artist's ideas, that is when the medium, the painting tools, doesn't matter anymore. The medium doesn't matter anymore because you are not expressing something outside, put it on the medium. You are expressing something inside out, and therefore the medium can be anything. And to make his point, this French artist therefore created an artwork. In 1970, he submitted that artwork to an exhibition in the Grand Palace in New York. Grand Central Palace Exhibition 1917 in New York. He submitted this artwork. He called it The Fountain. He bought a urinal, he signed on it, Armut 1970, submitted as an exhibition. Precisely to challenge the idea prevalent in the art scene at the time, that his point is that important thing is what the artists think internally and his feeling. And because of that, subsequently, it created many art movements, Dada, Surrealism, pop art that we know today. All these things come from this guy and the movement that he has created. So because of that, now we are in this juncture in the history where our youth, our young people who are involved in the arts, it's time for us to rethink, how do you want to do art? How do you want to do art in this time? Now, I started with a reference to Banksy, earlier the Banksy. So this is the famous painting. He actually did others. In 2018, he did one painting. He used stencil method, and he framed it up, put it in a nice frame, and he brought this painting for an auction, put it into auction in London. So 2018, auction it, a lot of people bid for the art piece. So the judge, the auctioneer, so say, okay, how many thousand, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. So when it reached the maximum value of the bid, which is £1 million at the time, £1 million at the time, nobody bidded more than £1 million. So the auctioneer knocked his hammer to close and seal the deal for this art piece. And at that time, when after immediately knocked on his hammer, suddenly the whole hall heard an alarm. Coming from this framework. And to the shock of everyone, the art piece was shredded halfway. On your right side, the art piece go down shredded, and the workers at the time so shocked, they quickly go and check the frame, but the art actually stopped halfway. The shredding stopped halfway. So the staff worker went and checked the frame. They realized that Banksy actually installed a shredder in the frame underneath it, and therefore, once the auction is done, it's sealed, the painting start shredding. Everyone was shocked. One is stopped, everyone was like, didn't know how to react. But you know what happened after that? The value of this art piece shoot up to the sky, increased a lot. Recently, I think 2 years ago, when this art piece was being auctioned again, the price was 18 million pounds. From 1 million pounds, just a few years, increased to 18 million pounds. Why? So now reflecting on this story, I think it actually teaches me something about our multiracial society. You know, in Malaysia, we formed through different races come together to build this nation called Malaysia. First declared independence in 1957, and then with the inclusion of Sabah and Sarawak in 1963. Now we have Malaysia, consists of different races. But in 1969, May 13th, there was a riot happened where people killed each other in the name of race and religion. Yeah, there were people died. Until now, we cannot be certain how many bodies were actually there. Some say in the hundreds. People were scared. That's why there was a darurat at the time. So, reflecting on this story, make me realize the value of what we have, the value of our multiracial bond. Is it like this painting? One is being shredded halfway, then only we realize the value is so much more. The same in our society. The value of our community is so much more. Therefore, with that, I would like to close this welcoming speech to leave us with these thoughts that will prompt us, that will motivate us on how to do art that will heal and strengthen humanity. The world needs arts that nurtures trust among different communities. The world needs arts that build common identity in diversity. And also, actually this is how I have ended the speech just now. And also at the same time, I also want to take this opportunity, besides getting all of us to reflect on our role, on our vocation as artists in today's world, get us to reflect on that. At the same time, I want to inform and also announce that my office, my team, is actually having a project, a mural art project. A mural art project where we invite artists from different backgrounds, different religion, to come together to reimagine something. I call this project Mother Earth Reimagined. Mother Earth Reimagined, why? Because I will reconceptualize Mother Earth. You know, in the past, when we imagine about Mother Earth, it's like an old lady, old woman, caring and embracing trees, you know, embracing the sea. But what if I'm thinking about Mother Earth is a young 20-year-old girl, adventurous, curious, and learning at the same time, growing. Because you think about it, the Earth is quite young. It's 4 billion years old. We still have another 4 billion years old before the sun got burned out and then the Earth become inhabited. So, looking at the Earth in that time frame, the Earth is actually very young. What if reimagine the Mother Earth as a young 20-year-old lady who grow together with the changes in our society? Positive changes, sustainable changes, technological changes. So therefore, we are inviting anyone who is interested in helping us to reimagine Mother Earth. With my colleagues, both of them, Jia Si and Sui Yi, have their leaflet and barcode for you to register your ideas. We are inviting you guys to participate, to give us your ideas. Because when you scan it, you can go to the Google form or the IG account of this NGO, where you can tell us your ideas and how we can reimagine the Mother Earth together. And with that, I wish and I hope you guys will have a pleasant panel later, discussion about the role of arts in today's world, the role of hard arts to nurture our common identity amidst diverse communities in our society. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for the long introduction. My God, you did your research. Was that from the Wiki Impact website? You got it, okay. I know, I actually wrote that and I was like, yeah, that's very detailed. But yes, we are here to talk about the various role art plays in the inclusion of various religions, ideas, and culture. And I love the way you put it. We have to shred this artwork before we figure out that it's important. But enough of what I have to say. We actually have 3 panelists, which I had the pleasure of meeting beforehand. My God, you guys are really cool. So I'm going to call you guys one by one to the stage, and we'll get this kicking. First of all, Dr. Kuah Li Feng, the curator of Anatomy of House of Worship. Oh, sorry. Can't really blame the spotlight, can I? And of course, second, we have Mr. Tang Yeok Khang, illustrator for the Anatomy of course, House of Worship as well. Oh, that's for, to get dry mouths. And of course, one of my favorite people in the whole of Penang, Mr. Tang Yeok Khang, the general manager of Penang Arts District. Glad to have you, man. So that's right, so these are your creative voices for the lessons that we're going to learn, especially in regards to the Anatomy of House of Worship. So first and foremost, Dr. Kuah, would you like to be the first to start things off?
Hello. Thank you, Mo. Although we meet for the first time, I think we will soon be your favorite person as well. Just to relax, everybody. Good morning. You want to start with?
Well, up to you. I mean,
okay. So I just pick up where YB Joshua left just now. Shared narratives is very important in our society. We're talking about diversity and diversity. We don't have to let people know how diverse we are. People can see. But what is the narrative that binds everybody together? That one, I think, students are here, as visual communicators, as artists, as designers, I think that is our role to communicate. To create that shared narratives. I've been working in the field of culture in Penang for many years, and my personal interest is really building these shared narratives. Many years ago, the introduction of Street of Harmony. So that concept was very controversial at the beginning, and no, you cannot talk about that. You cannot change that street name, and we cannot put that name. We cannot put that street as Street of Harmony. So there was one project that we want. We still want to educate or promote the sense of harmony. So how we build that narratives? We cannot talk about religion. So we talk about we share the sun. We share the moon. So this religion use moon in their own way. So then we use natural elements. We use flowers, we use water to build that shared narratives. So in this religion people use water for this and that and that. So I think that's a strategy that time. But I think that was about 10 years ago. So I think our society has moved on. There's time. I think we grow. It's time to talk about value. Actually, what is like shared value? We cannot just talk about sun, moon. And of course, that's clever use. But I think it's time also. What is beyond the sun and moon? What actually do we share? Of course, we don't share the same superior being, or we don't share the same God. But what do we share? During another work of mine. Just after COVID, so I worked with religious was this worship, and then they shared with me the Gurdwara. They shared with me. During COVID, we actually worked with the Chinese temple beside us. They have the resources. They have people to donate a lot of food, a lot of rice to them, but they don't have channel to distribute. We are very strong at distribution. We are the action people. We help them to distribute. So this kind of partnership, regardless of race, regardless of ethnicities, or regardless of religion, these are the stories that we share. And these are the stories that is worth sharing to public. And this is also, I think, our responsibility as visual communicators, artists, designers, and I hope our students will get inspired and will be willing to work in this field I mean, the society needs more communicators to promote positive messages because we are full of negativity, whatnot. So we need people like that to tell this kind of stories, and these are shared narratives that is worth being told to the society in a very creative way. And I think the mural project is one of the example. We just go beyond the divide. Just reimagine the Mother Earth, reimagine what we share.
Wow, that's really beautiful said, and I think you can tell my face. I thought it was really clever how you played it out. But I love how you sort of set the tone where being an artist is not about painting pictures; it's about the message. The message is more important sometimes. I would say that having beautiful artwork is not important, but for me personally, I think we are at that phase in our civilization, in our community, in our nation, where we need more artists with messages of harmony and humanity and understanding, as we all know. And of course, if we can move on to our next speaker as well, who really got me involved in his work outside of this one. So I hope we develop a really cool friendship because I like your style and your work is amazing as well. So if you could be our second speaker and tell us how all of this came about and your thoughts.
I'm Tang, illustrator for the House of Poetry. So it's my pleasure to be here today together with the law students and others who's sharing here. Okay. For me, I've been working with these cultural teams for quite a number of years. Started from the designing the National Museum, about 20 years ago, and until now have the chance to work with defense in this project. So I think for this round, our biggest challenge is how to look at the beauty of different diversity, different religions. That's the most important thing I have to highlight is we look at the beauties and don't look at the negative sides in our mind. So from an artist way, we always have a challenge. So we wanted a different community to present their most proud topics in their own community. Like we have this Hai Dhamma, the temples, we have this Gurdwara. So each of them, they have their most proud things to share with the community. So through our artistic hands, we will bring out the most essence thing. They are proud of it. That's another thing I have to share.
Well, okay. Well, that's pretty much on the nose, and I think we kind of all agree that's the way forward in regards to building the next generation. But of course, now we have Mr. Kenny, who the reason why I call him one of the favorite people of mine on this island is because this guy's had battle scars in developing the art scene. He's very humble about it. He'll never say it openly, but I know, I know. See the impact you have. Are you okay, sir? I hope you're okay. So, Mr. Kenny, if you could tell us maybe a little bit more of like how the youth can use their art form or their talent, to change things, to maybe add to the community and the narrative of harmony and unity.
Hi, I'm Kenny from Penang Art District. I think using maybe some examples of what was done even previously back then, because while I started before Penang Art District, I was actually working with the Georgetown Festival. So there are some interesting projects because we always feel that the arts actually help break barriers between religion, between culture, and also even language as well. So we always try to find ways to how we can improve arts and create unity. So one of the projects that we ever did was the Butterworth Bridge Festival. So that was started back in 2015. So that was a very interesting project because we were given a space by the council in front of the Indian temple. And right there, around there, there's also a mosque right across the street. There's also a temple down the road. I think it's also part of the Harmony Street as well. That was also the different as well. in there it's fun because we get to work with these people, we get to share their stories, and how we can put in content there for the community, the public to even expose themselves to culture they're not very familiar with. So we had like a 3 days festival there. We worked with the Indian temple community, with the mosque community, and also the temple community. So we put in like cultural performances as well, and also exhibitions, even photography exhibitions showcasing who they are, what they do, and what these streets in the morning looks like and what at night looks like. So I think for youth, what they can do with the arts is simple things as that, like just be a storyteller. A good storyteller actually can help break a lot of barriers. Just like interviewing the people along the streets, like the one we did at the Butterworth Bridge. There's this Indian guy that sells flowers. He has a lot of story to tell. So we were talking to him and how he was exposed to the people around there. He's so multiracial and things like that. Yeah, so then we started, he's quite interesting. So we decided to work with Pink City and did like an exhibition just for him. So we did like photography of his shop, his face and everything. And we put it all over the place. And a lot of them has very interesting stories to tell. And I think one of the tools that we did, one of the great things that we can do with arts is because it gives us a platform. It also gives the artists a platform to even work with the community, to even share the stories to other people. And it helps the public to give a more broad understanding on the culture and also the religion itself as well. Yeah, I think that's one way you can use art as a tool.
I agree with that one. That's why we're here to talk about it. But yeah, no, that is definitely one way to like bridge the gap. I mean, there's also like having politicians like YB, who's very on the ball and like your research and your speeches like always amazing. So he gets it. So we need more people like that and more people like you guys here on stage as well. It's a community thing. But yeah, art definitely has a role to play. And speaking of that, I actually have in my notes here, I wanted to ask you guys, art as a tool for social impact. What, like the youth, what can they learn from what you've done?
Ooh, sorry, I take this first.
Maybe we should just leave these on.
Sure. Okay, what's the impact? What can they learn? Actually, for me, I just share my growing process. What they can learn, I think the most important thing that they should learn is to become more sensible, to be more sensitive about people around you. We don't put on a lens from our own perspective. For example, many years ago when I was newbie, and then I worked on a community newspaper documenting Balik Pulau story. So we asked about history of Balik Pulau and tell how this community of the stories of this community and how they tend to pajak the paddy field and become broke. So at that time, I briefed the illustrator, to say, this community, because they pajak, then they become poor. So draw that people to be like in very torn clothing. You know what? When the community paper was published, the group of people come to protest in front of our office, burn the paper because claiming that we look down on this specific race and we are being biased. So that one, because I was the oral history collector, so I was like, I have to retrieve my data and this is what exactly that Pachik told me. So that lesson I learned is that as visual communicator, we have to do our part. It's not that, this story is given to us, we just draw according to our imagination. We operate in a context. We have to be sensitive, yet true to the story, but we need to know how to project a story. So this is the lesson that I think they should know. Like I bring students to Gurdwara, to Hindu temple. Many of them, they say, this is my first time there. Some of them don't want to try I mean, food was being served. Some of them, I feel uncomfortable. Or, I don't want to try. But some, I want to try. But what we are trying to do here is like, please open up your mind. People of different faith, they are actually the same as us. You just try. Open up your five senses, try, and then see things from different perspectives. So I think young people have to open your mind. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. So, what do you think about art as being used as a social impact tool?
Arts actually is a very transformative material. So it presented in a different manner, like in the two-dimensional, three-dimensional, digital, performing arts, visual arts, a lot of different forms. So what I feel is since about 15 years ago, I started with the shopping mall festival decoration. So I'm actually trained in interior design and doing arts as well. So for me, interior design is another method to bring the sense of arts and to bring to the some sense of happiness to the community. So through designing all those festival designs like Christmas decorations, Chinese New Year decorations, I can see a lot of people taking selfie, having fun, walking into my design. So since then, I feel that it's actually arts communicating with people. So especially when we designing 3D, so people walking into our artwork. So we bring some, also if you bring the wrong message, says some symbolic thing, you bring it up wrongly, so it's not so good.
So there's a lot of thought behind it because you can convey the wrong thing.
Yeah. So you can see my hands turning white.
That's the way. Like I said backstage, natural manufactured. All right. So how about you, Mr. Kenny? I mean, art as a tool for social impact. I mean, you've seen a lot of things. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a great tool actually. I do really agree because let's just take the digital medium for example. If you are creating content, if you're an artist that uses digital platform as a tool to spread a message of social impact or things and everything else, the first thing people would like to see is actually the message in your platform. They don't care whether or not who is behind it, who runs it and things like that. Only maybe through a certain place. But the message is always very important. So using that as a tool is actually very good. It helps a lot with the community or with people understanding other community as well. So because it's a forefront, it's what the stories comes first. For example, I think the best example will be one of the projects that were done a few years back. It's called Marking Georgetown. It's the frames, the metal frames around Georgetown. Those are very good storytelling too. I don't think people care who does it at first because it was not told who designed the metal.
What was it?
Yeah, until later phase. It was just part of a project where it's just telling the stories like the Boache, Kanwan Street and things like that. What's it about? And it's good because it started a trail for people who want to understand more about the history of the place. The people that living that street during that time. Only to a later phase people found out, this is the artist that does it. But what I'm trying to say is it's a very good tool because at first, bigger message you get it right. People don't really care who you are first. Only eventually they want to know who's behind it. So take Banksy for example, when he first started bombing around London, I think people were just amazed with the work. And people never really cared who wants to know who Banksy was. Only after later phase people like, I want to know who Banksy is. And then you can't find out who Banksy was until today. So it's always the message. Message is always important. So art is actually a very good platform to spread messages and to be a tool for storytelling. It really helps connect people.
It's kind of, I like the way you put it because it means that it's nice to be famous, but that fame has to be earned. You have to make a social. She's liking it so much. She's like, yeah, you got a ball, girl. But yeah, no, it's true. Like, being famous is nice, it's lovely, it's a wonderful feeling where everybody loves you, but you have to earn it. And to earn it is you have to have an impact, right? And I know we're talking about the whole metaphysical, and then everybody here is like practically falling asleep. Okay, do we have an actual? What can people really do to use their art for social impact? What can the youth do? Oh, we start with you. I mean, we have a nice little flow here. We haven't interrupted that, so I was hoping that maybe we can start here and then go to Mr. Kenny.
Okay, what could we do using art for social impact? Start from ourselves. I mean, our little social media post, do it creatively, positively, spread, the message. Yeah, I think start by ourselves in our creative ways, we have different creativity and just use different tools. This is, I think, the little thing that everybody can do instead of spread like hatred, attacking people online. Why don't we do some good and just spread some positivity?
I feel slightly called out because sometimes I do get angry and I go on a rant on social media, so I apologize to everybody.
But you must.
I know you guys do too. Don't lie, especially the ones on your phone. You're ranting right now, aren't you?
Yeah, but you must have a point, not just right for. Right? Okay.
What do you think? Like, actionable things that the youth can do to use art as a tool.
I remember Now Baby. You know Now Baby? One of the singers.
Was that the controversial one?
Nembi, sorry.
The one with was it the beanie, right? Oh my god.
Yeah. I think this guy is very interesting. He always gets the the topic that connects us together. So it brings up some emotion. But from the other way, you can see that most of the emotion they bring up is the negative emotion. Yeah. So for us, actually, we have to watch out whether we're bringing out the negative emotion or positive emotion.
Can I add?
Oh yeah, yes, please. This is an open floor. I know it feels structured, but I'm not really. As you can tell, I'm not.
Negative emotion is fine to me, but as long as it's constructive and it's constructive, it opens discussion, it expands our horizon. I think we welcome different emotions, but I think the basis is really to be constructive.
Yes, yeah, I agree with that. Because sometimes it's artist's choice, to bring both negative and positive. That artists cannot control. And then only thing is that actions or selections of the methods you are using is actually portraying your character, your real character.
But then again, it doesn't necessarily have to be all positive, right? Because I kind of figured the first per se was not really about positivity, it's more like fighting back. And that's where we're willing to get shot with tear gas. So I'm thinking with that thought in mind that as long as the message is in line with what we all are thinking. Because for me, the artist is the one that is the sacrificial lamb that's going to save the thing to the person we fear the most. For me. Right. But what do you think, Mr. King? I should not put you on the spot. Sorry, I know. Okay, let's put the whole political per se thing aside. What I meant was like, what do you think the youth could do as an actionable step?
I think simple is find a cause. Find a story that you want to tell. Find something that you're passionate about. And what are your skills? And I know to start as someone who's young, who's youthful. I think my advice is maybe start as a collective. Find your peers, find your friends that you can work on this project together. You need a lot of backing support. And then come up and see what you want to do and whose stories you want to tell. What do you want to exhibit? It can be any form. It can be digital, it can be exhibition, it can be working with a dancer, a performer as well. But why I suggest to work in the collective is because when you decide to use arts as a tool to actually express or share some things like that, you're actually also exposing yourself to, like what you're going to say, negativity as well. So that's when doing it alone is going to be very tough, because then you get attacked. Because again, you can't really please everyone. Some things you might tell there are flaws, or or maybe sometimes some people do not agree with what you want to do. So being in the collective helps a lot. And then working together also helps to you have your own support system as well. And I think easiest step is start a collective, start what you want to do, look for grants, it can be government, it can be financial support from commercial, and then execute it.
So we're going to go into a little Q&A. And I've been doing this MC thing for quite a while, the whole radio thing. And I've noticed that Malaysians are very bad when it comes to Q&A. It's like crickets. So to everybody here, this is what I like to introduce into our culture. It's called the reverse Q&A. Instead of you raising your hand, asking a question, I will call you out. And then I'll ask you a question. Ah, this guy knows what I'm talking about. Sir, over there. Hi, can I ask you a question? Who'd like to ask a question?
Me?
Yes.
Ask anything.
Anyone.
For the harmonium one, I think let me see. If I ask Dr. Kuah Li Feng,
Yeah.
if one day you see your God, you will tell your God what thing.
Wow. Woo, she came in packing. But thank God she represented because these guys know the okay. Anyway, so if you could see your God, what would you say?
In my belief system, I strive to achieve Nibbana. So I hope I don't see anybody at the end. I become nothing in the end. Thank you. But if I do see somebody, I will say thank you. Thank you for giving me this life, and I hope that I don't waste this life. I hope that I have made you proud.
All right, let's move on to the next question. Hi, Miss. So what do you think about art as a social tool? As a social impact tool?
As a social impact tool, I think it's quite a modern way. Well, not really modern. I mean, it's a few years already, but yeah, it's a way to let out to like express how people are feeling, not just individual, of course, a lot of people, and it sends a message to other people and make them aware of such causes and stuff.
Somebody give her an A, man. Like, she delivered. All right, thank you so much. And I shoot a question back to any panelist.
Actually,
Any question. It could be anything. Off topic also okay. Or one of your faculty members, you can ask her anything.
Do you have questions?
There's no way you can run from this, bro. I'm here. I'm not running away. Oh, you want to ask a question? Okay, go. Okay, anyway, sir, what question do you want to shoot to the panelists?
Okay, this is some kind of off-topic question. Okay, I'd like to ask you guys for some of your opinion about the story of Adam and Eve. And I would like to ask you, if you are Adam or you are Eve, will you take the fruit of knowledge? Will you eat the forbidden fruit?
So theoretically, I know most of the people on stage are Buddhist. And ironically, the one that could answer that one is the Muslim on the microphone. But if you did believe in an Adam and Eve, would you eat the apple? Well, I tell you what, this is a fun one. Theoretically, with the three of you, would you eat the apple? Do you want to also have a why attached to that one, or do you just want them to say yes or no?
I want some kind of...
You want some kind of like, okay, all right. He wants a deep, meaningful, clickable, TikTokable answer.
If I'm hungry, Adam, definitely I'll eat the apple. I think for that story, the story writer, I don't know who, is trying to ask us what is our needs, what is our desire. Yeah, that's it. So if I'm hungry, I will eat the apple. Very pure.
All right. I mean, you as a person who's far younger than any of us on stage, are you bored with this or did you find this interesting?
There
reason that I try to find something interesting is, yeah, I see that we try to find experience about the practice of the religion and try to think some of the ideals.
There's not a bunch of old people talking on stage. But yeah, continue. So what else did you find interesting?
Well, something like, yeah, I remember since a few weeks ago, we enjoyed to explore more about the religious practices. Yeah, like
just the whole exploring different cultural things. Have you ever done that in your own personal experience? Have you ever gone into a faith of into a church, a mosque?
Online no, because I'm Catholicism.
Oh, you're Catholic?
Yeah, Catholic. Every Sunday, me and my younger brother are entering the immaculate conception of church.
Oh wow!
Yeah, keep praying and give us blessings. That's why I keep praying for the future and also to find peace and harmony.
No wonder you're such a cool and calm person with that really non-wavering eye contact. Now, can you shoot a question back to any of the panelists?
You mean
anyone could be a victim.
Okay. Anyway, Dr. Kuah, for all the experience about the community service class, I try to gain a lot more confidence and understand the cultural impact, and I try to socialize as well.
So could you repeat the question again? I also kind of missed it toward the end.
I try to understand well during the community service class. But I try to remember what every lecturer has told me to do for every part of the.
So you're saying, should they tell you what to do?
Could be
Okay, so can you tell him what to do in making this? I'm gonna reinterpret what he said. I'm paraphrasing. I could have gotten this very wrong. He's asking, could you tell him, instruct him what to do to make a social impact with his art? Right?
Yeah. Right.
Okay, thank God. All right, what do you guys think?
No, I think he is asking because they are students of the community service subject. So I think he is asking, why are they doing this? What is the impact? This is my interpretation.
Oh, okay, well then you've interpreted better than I could. So what is the reason impact?
Okay, this is the first time we pair students with government agencies to do this kind of harmony projects. And then very glad to have this batch of students for the community service subject. And then why we are doing this is because we really want the students to keep in touch with, the real people, like really real people. You don't draw based on photographs. You don't draw based on online research. That's why we bring you to places that you have never been to. And in this context is the different houses of worship. And I'm sure many of you is like first experience entering some places. So we want you to really sense, these different places and meet different people and hope that in this process you, get different experience and get inspiration for your creation. And also by doing this exhibition, actually it's a public education. I hope that you're aware that, you are helping, to spread the message. I think you do the online posting, you are manning the gallery and explaining to people. So these are the little impact that we can do as students and as an academy. I hope I explained well. Okay. Anything you want to add? Can you add to the Thank you.
All right, so I heard that. I'm sorry, man. I couldn't think of anybody else when you say get somebody much older. So, dude, what do you think about? because I get it. Maybe some of the students here, they've never been shot with tear gas or trying to protest for a new government, right? For me, that wasn't.
I haven't done that.
You didn't come with us? No, okay. But what I meant was you kind of have to be beaten, battered, and bruised and angry to realize how important social change is. But maybe you can provide someone who I know for a fact has gone through life as well. What do you think? Am I wrong? Am I right? Or
You really want to do this? I'm like,
Yes, I do. That's why I chose you. I know you're the person who's going to shoot me out, man. Come on.
Oh dear. Okay, let's see how we're gonna do this. I took a bit, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. But just to lend a little bit of color, I was with Kazana for a very long time. I was involved in setting up things.
Chose the right guy.
Pink City, amongst other things. So I want to touch on the Street of Harmony because you guys mentioned it. So for those that are not familiar, Street of Harmony is basically Jalan Masjid Kapitaling, right? For us older people, we refer to it as Big Street.
Yes.
Thank God I'm not the only one here, man. So the term itself was somewhat coined in 2008, actually. At least more popularized when we brought the former president of India, APJ Abdul Kalam, here. And granted, it would have been that much easier if we had just put him in a hall like this and, just have a basic talk. But we decided to embrace the risk and put him on the streets. Imagine all you need is just one fella to throw a pebble at that old man. It would have been an international incident. What we were not expecting was literally thousands of people filled the streets. But I'm bringing this up because that experience itself was one of the most beautiful things that I've ever encountered, in the sense that the Street of Harmony is the main artery that has a lot of house of worships and the clan houses, right? That's why we call it Street of Harmony. We started with the St. George's Church, which is the first point. Then we moved on from there. What Abdul Kalam actually did, he's from India, he's a Muslim, he's a vegetarian. But what he did at each of this house of worship was when he went to St. George's Church, he was asking the priest, can you please bless me with your holy water? When he went to Kuah Li Feng, he was asking for joss sticks, because that's how he believes the Chinese actually paid their respects. And eventually we moved on to, this was on Queen Street, I think, the temple. They had a pedestal for him, he went on the pedestal, he started speaking in Tamil, the whole place just went crazy. We had initial plans of putting him on a trishaw and basically ferrying him to the mosque where he will be doing his Friday prayers. We had to shelve all those plans because it felt literally like he was Michael Jackson and we were his security guards trying to push people away. So imagine the managing director of Kazana, some big shot, right, bloody fella. He was running alongside the car pushing people away because he used to play rugby. Thousands of people. We were trapped in one of the house of worships at one point because they were just banging on the door. It was crazy. But after that incident, he loved it so much that he actually created a poem for Penang. I have it somewhere.
He created a poem for Penang?
He did. He wrote a poem for Penang. The interesting bit of it is, and I'll get to the 2 points I want to make. When I spoke to representatives of the different houses of worship after that, they told me some basic history behind it, and they said, Kevin, actually, it's not the Street of Harmony. It's more Street of Tolerance. You don't come into my house, I don't come into yours. But the Street of Tolerance doesn't have a good ring to it. Yeah, part of branding, marketing, that kind of thing, right? Which leads me to the 2 points I want to make. The first one is art can be very subjective, right? It's always up to interpretation. So when it comes to artists in particular, they might want to convey a message that is maybe message A, but when people look at it, they might think B, C, D. So that's always a challenge. And I want to tie this to one of the things that got to me on a post of Penang Walkabouts, where someone posted about graffiti art on the heritage zone. But you see, that response itself, right? Who actually determines what is right, what is wrong, and what is suitable for whatever area? For all intents and purposes, someone or the owner of the building might actually commission the artist to actually do that because the whole place was already worn down. But our first instinct is almost always negative and we always respond in anger. When, truth be told, how often do we actually go to places like this and say, oh, this art is really ugly, we should change this and all that. And I've had these conversations with Mandan Ting City and all that. It's like, we're going around town trying to make these changes, but we are actually making these decisions from a position of, whatever it is, the word escapes me now. But when in actual fact, the residents and the people who are living there might actually have no problems whatsoever with the place that they're staying at, right? So that's point number one, which I think we can deliberate on that. Two is the financial factor behind this. Quite often, that is always the issue when it comes to arts and culture, and we are rich, we are deep, especially in Penang, but somehow we are not able to actually break that, and this is a conversation I've had with the principal of One Academy as well, in terms of trying to introduce entrepreneurship programs and all that to the artists and the students. It's almost always about, oh, this is my passion, I want to do this and all that. It's like, yeah, but how are you going to put food on the table? How are you going to pay for this? I understand your work might be the holier than thou when you're trying to create all this stuff, you're trying to send your message out. But apart from, getting grants, subsidies, and handouts from government, what other forms of financial factors can you actually look at? Can you make it self-sustaining? Can you start to make your own money? Things like that. Well, I think I've gone on for long enough.
Mr. Kevin Aziz, you delivered. All right, can you shoot a question to anyone? Can you stop it? So any one of the panelists here, choose your victim, shoot a question.
No, man, just leave it open.
Leave it open?
In the mid-points, yeah.
Just like that. All right, this is probably a good way to wrap things up. I can feel the vibe of the room. So everybody here, thank you so much. And I want you to know that it may not make sense now, but one day when you wake up and you're angry enough, you will. So to everybody here on the panelists, thank you for your time and your expertise. And of course, YB, for being here throughout this whole thing as well. Thank you. And everybody, you can go. It's over.